Hey guys, it's me, Marin, back with another video. So today is March 8th, which is International Women's Day, and March is also International Women's Month. And I have to tell you guys that I kind of grappled with making this video. I kind of grappled with the idea of whether or not I wanted to make a video for International Women's Day. Because as I've talked about in my videos on white feminism, the videos that I have on Lena Dunham, the video that I made on the Women's March, as a Black woman, it can be very hard to stand in solidarity with other non-Black women, and that can be white women, that can be non-Black POC, because of just the rampant anti-Black racism. And the idea of an International Women's Day kind of falls in line with the idea of this whole, solidarity amongst women. People, it's kind of flat. It's kind of flat. A lot of these concepts are really flat. It's oh, International Women's Day, and women come together, and all this love for women, and blah, 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 blah. But then you go on Twitter, for example, and you're going through the International Women's Day hashtag, and Twitter, the official Twitter account did a post that was Lena Dunham, honoring, they've been honoring women all day. And they did a post that was honoring Lena Dunham. It said honoring Lena Dunham for being a strong woman that has empowered a generation of women to use their voices. That's very flat because Lena Dunham didn't, for example, cast even any Black women on her show, and then her excuse when people asked her why was oh, I don't know any, they don't exist where I live in Brooklyn, there are no Black women, and she's also racist and done a whole bunch of other fucked up shit, and it's do we stand in solidarity with white women when it, the whole Adele versus Beyonce for Lemonade thing happens, do we stand in solidarity with white women, it's just this idea that again, which we've talked about so many times on this channel now, of oh, gender, we're women, so we're in this together. But then when it comes down to it, when it comes down to elections, when it comes down to suffrage, when it comes down to, feminist causes, 9 times out of 10, people are going to put their race first before gender. So for me, it just, as a woman, as a Black woman, it feels very flat to talk about International Women's Day and the hashtag solidarity is for white women. So whenever I hear about women's solidarity, it's just I don't know. It's kind of when they give you this date, they say oh, 19th Amendment, when all women got the right to vote, and they teach you about women's suffrage, and then later on you learn that well, but actually Black women got the right to vote a little bit later. And Native women got the right to vote a little bit later, and Mexican women got the right to vote a little bit later. There's this idea, there's this underlying idea that when you say women, there's this invisible white in front of it, right? Women's suffrage or white women's suffrage, because as Black women, we have a qualifier, Black women's suffrage, Black women's voting rights, because we just don't fall in the same category as them because of the way that our race impacts our gender, that sweet spot, I like to call it, that misogynoir, right? It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So again, just the idea, the concept of International Women's Day feels flat to me. Again, solidarity is for white women. This idea, we have to start getting, again, just more intersectional. So maybe the use of the term international, International Women's Day is a step in that direction. But again, it still feels flat. I know I keep saying flat, but that's really the only thing that comes to mind in terms of just, oh, International Women's Day, yay, rhetoric. You guys know I hate rhetoric. You guys know I hate rhetoric. Meaningless words and phrases that don't mean anything. Meaningless. So what I decided to do for today instead was to do a Hidden Figures video. Yay, Hidden Figures. And it actually works out because I decided that I think I'm going to do Hidden Figures videos every Wednesday of the month. So this is the first Wednesday of March, which just also happens to be International Women's March, so we're going to be kicking off our monthly Hidden Figures Women's Series. So I'm super duper excited about that. So today's Hidden Figure, well, yeah, I guess we can still say this week's Hidden Figure, this week's Hidden Figure is Jeri Lynne Johnson. Jeri Lynne Johnson is the founder and artistic director of the Black Pearl Chamber Orchestra, which she established in 2008 as a model for the 21st century orchestra. The hallmark of Black Pearl has been its total commitment to bringing a younger, more culturally diverse audience to classical music, and as the music director and creative force behind Black Pearl, Ms. Johnson conceives and designs all concert, outreach, and educational programming to reinforce this commitment. So basically, Jeri Lynne Johnson is like a classically trained musician that was performing in these orchestras, and she was like often the youngest person there or the only Black woman there. And she was like, we need more younger people, we need more diversity, like we need all these things in these classical orchestras and in classical music. And basically the orchestra said like, but this is, it's classical music, which AKA means it's European music, it's white music, it's upscale music. We can't be having, you're exceptional, but we can't be letting no more riffraff up in here. So what did she do? She formed her own orchestra company that specifically revolved around diversity and youth, which again is kind of an example of what we talk about in a way when we talk about building outside of infrastructure, which really just means going outside of what is already established. So if you can't find an already established orchestra that can do what you want, you build your own, right? Let's go. Through unique collaborations with some of the city's great institutions like the Free Library of Philadelphia, the Barnes Foundation, and Opera Philadelphia, among others, that create classical music experiences that blur the lines between audience and performers, Black Pearl has garnered critical acclaim for its innovative audience engagement activities from the National Endowment for the Arts and is the only organization ever to win 3 prestigious Knight Foundation Arts Challenge grants. A graduate of Wellesley College, Ms. Johnson began conducting while completing a master's degree in music theory and history at the University of Chicago, and in 1998 she won the George Maestra Conducting Scholarship to attend the Aspen Music Festival. Since then, her conducting teachers and mentors have included Sir Simon Rattle, Marin Alsop, I hope I'm pronouncing these right, and John Harbison. In 2005, Ms. Johnson made history as the first African-American woman to win an international conducting prize when she was awarded the Taki Concordia Conducting Fellowship. Ms. Johnson's conducting engagements have included orchestras around the world, including the Philadelphia Orchestra, the Colorado Symphony, and the Chamber Orchestra of Philadelphia. Her conducting repertoire is unusually broad and has led her to performances of premieres of leading classical composers, as well as a groundbreaking collaboration at Carnegie Hall with Jay-Z, Alicia Keys, and The Roots. A recipient of many civic, community, and artistic honors, including a 2011 Women of Distinction Award from the Philadelphia Business Journal, 2010 British American Project Fellow, 2010 Philly 360 Creative Ambassador, in 2010, Philly 360 Creative Ambassador by the Greater Philadelphia Tourism and Marketing Corporation, Ms. Johnson has been featured in numerous magazines and newspapers, as well as television and radio shows. She was heralded as one of today's leading young women conductor. She is heralded as one of today's leading young women conductors. Isn't that awesome? I'm going to read you guys a little bit of an excerpt from an article that was written about her in Ebony magazine. Just a little bit. When Jeri Lynne Johnson asked for piano lessons at age 4, her parents didn't take her seriously. That all changed when they heard her play a song by ear that she heard on the radio. At age 7, Johnson saw her first orchestra and knew that she wanted to be a conductor, and she never wavered from that goal. This is a bit of an older piece. Today, she is the first female assistant conductor for the Chamber Orchestra of Philadelphia. Music has always been my number one passion, says Johnson, who was born in Freeport, Illinois, but grew up all over the country as her father's job as an executive vice president for AT&T required the family to move often. Music was a constant for me, says Johnson. It would never leave me or go away. It was something I would always have with me no matter what. It was just the most important thing in my life. While growing up, Johnson says she was a big geek because of all the time she spent playing the piano and being an avid reader. As an A student with an occasional B+, she says she lied about not having homework so that she could spend more time playing the piano. She played before and after school for more than 5 hours a day, and she practiced even more on weekends while remaining in gifted programs and taking advanced classes. I practiced because I loved music and I wanted to be good, Johnson says. It was just my passion. It was the only thing that I've ever wanted to do in life. Johnson's education and passion for music helped her open doors not previously open to women. When she, I'm going to go back a little bit. Hold on. Johnson majored in music and religion at Wellesley College and graduated cum laude in 1993. Later, she worked towards a PhD in music theory at the University of Chicago, but left to accept her job with the Chamber Orchestra of Philadelphia. Johnson's education and passion for music helped her open doors not previously open to women when she accepted her current position in Philadelphia, which she clearly has since started her own orchestra, the Black Pearl. When she accepted her current position in Philadelphia, she was asked to use her middle name so people would know that she is a female. She says she believes she's the first Black female in various jobs that she's had as the music director for the University of Chicago Chamber Orchestra and the Hyde Park Youth Symphony in Chicago. She also worked with the University of Chicago New Music Ensemble and the Aspen Music Festival. Being the first, however, did pose one problem. I can't say that I ever had any Black women conductor role models, Johnson says. I don't want to be like any other conductor. If you're going to be successful as a conductor, you have to be yourself. Yay. Jeri Lynne Johnson, a Hidden Figure. So today is the first day of our new Hidden Figure series. So Hidden Figure videos are going to go up on every Wednesday. Every Wednesday there's going to be a new Hidden Figure. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Happy International Women's Day, I guess. You guys know I'm weird about that. So happy Hidden Figures Day. Every Wednesday. Hopefully you guys will look forward to it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. You can go ahead and keep making suggestions because I'm keeping them in a folder because this is going to be an ongoing series. So food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Peace.